Hey everyone, today I will be working on number 2210, which is count hills and valleys in an area. So let's read the description. You are given a zero index integer area nums, and index I is part of a hill in nums, if the closest non-equal neighbors of I are smaller than nums I. Similarly, an index I is part of a valley in nums, if the closest non-equal neighbors of I are larger than nums I. And adjacent indices I and j are part of the same hill or valley if nums I is equal to nums j. So note that for an index to be part of a hill or a valley, it must have an unequal neighbor on both the left and the right of the index. Return the number of hills and valleys in nums. So here we're given this kind of array, and as we already read, if here we're having the number 4, 2 is if 4 here is greater than 2 and 4 is greater than 1, then we're having a hill. Now if we check number 1 here, 1 is less than 4 and 1 is less than 6, then we're having a valley. And we need to count the number of hills and valleys in nums. Now if we check at index 0, in all cases in any array, we're not going to be having neither a hill or a valley because there's nothing on the left. And same thing with the last index. In all cases, we're not going to have a hill or a valley. Now, that's the question. The only trick in this question is that if you are having duplicate numbers, as in this case here, in this case, they tell you adjacent indices I and j are part of the same hill or valley if nums I is equal to nums j. So we're having these two, we don't need to count these two. That's the only tricky part. So here we count 1. 1 is less than 4. 1 is less than 6. Now that's a valley. And before here we count 4 is greater than 2. 4 is greater than 1. Now that's a hill. And we have here 6 is greater than 5. 6 is greater than 1. Now that's also a hill. So we have the answer 3 in that case. And if we check here this number, as we said, index 0, it won't have anything, and the last index also will not have anything. Now if we check here 6, on the left hand side 6 is equal to 6, so there is nothing here. If we check 5, same thing, 5 is less than 6, but on the right hand side we have 5, so we check here 4, 5 is greater than 4, it doesn't work, so it won't be neither a hill or a valley. So in this in this example, we have output equal to 0. So as we said, in the simplest form, this question, we just need to check if the number on the left and the number on the right are less than this number, then it's going to be a hill. If both the number on the left and the number of the right are greater than this number, then it's going to be a valley. The only issue is when we have duplicates. Now, how can we solve this? We basically just remove the duplicates, and after we remove them, then we can simply just iterate and add the condition according to the question. So if we if we go to the board here and we're checking, we would have here this array. So we would have 2, 4, 1, 1, 6, 5. Step 1, we just need to remove the duplicates. Then we have this. Why do we remove the duplicates? Because we don't want to count them. As said in the question, we don't have to count the duplicates because the duplicates are the same hill and valley. So here we remove the duplicates. We have 2, 4, 1, 6, 5. And then we just loop normally and add to the result according to the condition that is given to us. So now if we go back to the code, we can here write the code according to what we have explained. So we need to calculate the result, so result equal to 0. Then we need to create another array that will not have duplicates. So we can do something like temp array equal nums 0. Here we initialize the array with the first index, which would be 2. We create a new list and initialize it with the first number, which is 2. Now we just simply loop for I in range length nums. Now here we need to check if we have duplicate numbers. So what we do, if nums I is not equal to temp underscore array minus 1, then temp underscore array dot append simply nums I. So what we do here, we're just looping in the original array that we have. Then we check if the number is not there, we add it. So we would have 2, then we have 4, then we add 1. Then for this one here, the last digit on this is going to be 1, so it won't be added. Then we go to 6, then we go to 5. Now the next step is simply just to add this condition here to the new array. So we can just do for j in range 1 temp underscore get the length first, sorry, temp underscore array, and then just minus 1 here. Now why do we use 1 here? Because for index 0 it's never gonna work. And why minus 1 here? Because for the last index it's never gonna work also, so it doesn't have to be included in the loop. Now we can just do if temp underscore array j greater than temp underscore array j minus 1 and temp underscore array j greater than also temp underscore array j plus 1. So this is the first condition, or then we add the second condition. We can just copy it, or temp underscore array j less than, and also less than here. Then we just result plus equal to 1, return result. Now we run it. And as we can see here, it passes the test cases. Now we can submit. And it passes the submission also. Now here, as we can see the question again, it's a very simple question, but as I said, the only tricky part is when we have these duplicates. That's it. But the other cases, we just have to write the condition that is written here in the description. And before doing that, we can just remove the duplicates by creating a new list. And then we can just do the condition again, and then it would work. It's a simple problem. I hope you understood the solution, and let me know in the comments if there's anything confusing for you, and if you need any more explanation, and see you in the next video.